Hey guys, my voice is cooked. This is my second last episode. Hope you guys have been enjoying this series. Wholly overworking. But yes, this is going to be a very, very sad episode. How do you build every single Nihility unit? The sad class of HSR. And taking a look at the units, I'm gonna keep it a buck. There's like 3 usable ones in 2025. Okay, maybe 4. So let's just jump right in. Technically there are a lot, but maybe DOT makes a comment in the future. I don't know. Jumping first to the first is gonna be Fugue, right? We do have ourselves the Fugue right here. We have a very, very normal build as a little bit similar to how you would build your Lingsha, which is slapping on your Iron Cavalry with the 2-piece Calbagini. If you want to, you could go for the 4-piece Eagle to spam the ultimate. I would only recommend this if you have a E2 Fugue. If you have an E2 Fugue, running 4-piece Eagle on her is actually pretty decent because you can spam your ultimate very, very fast to get a lot of extra value. If you don't have an E2 Fugue, running for the Iron Cavalry is going to be completely fine. She still does decent toughness bar damage, especially the ultimate is going to be ignoring any of the elements. So it does help a little bit when it comes to clearing the mobs, which, your Firefly or Bullhill might have a little bit more problems with, right? So that's pretty much it. Getting the speed in. For the energy requirements, you do want to try to run this, but only if you have a Signature Lycone, right? If you do not have a Signature Lycone, you're going to be losing a lot of break effect. So for example, if you were to run like Resolution, which is also a pretty decent alternative, you are gonna be left with roughly 100 break effect. So for Fugue, she does have a trace over here that goes all the way up to 220, right? Unless you can hit 220 break effect in combat, I would say getting this with break effect rope would be viable, because frankly speaking, for Fugue, it doesn't really matter that much whether you get the ultimate or not, since it's not as important. But this does change if number 1, you have E2 Fugue to spam DDD, and number 2, if you already have the Signature Lycone to fix your break effect requirement, right? So that's pretty much it. For most players, if you skip the S1, just run break effect. If you didn't skip the S1, energy generation is completely fine. Speed as fast as possible. Get a little bit more break effect on the subset. So something like this, pretty good. EHR main stat always, because she needs the EHR for the defense as well, right? Speed boots, something like this. I didn't really care about the offensive main stats. Getting something defense would be quite nice to make her a little bit tankier. I want all of my supports to be very tanky in the break for. And then this is gonna be the E2, which is, in my opinion, I just put this for fun 99. I don't even know why I put this. But it's very, very interesting to see 3 DDDs in a single team, which is Fugue, HMC, Run Mei. I just thought it was very fun for content. So that's pretty much E2. E1, I think, is a pretty decent stopping point as well, because it basically allows you to boot heal to instantly deal 100 toughness bar damage. That's basically one-shotting every single elite. But that was also 2025. Sorry, 2024, right? Nowadays, you have elites like the horse, the Pegasus, the fucking lion. They have like more toughness bar than the boss. So you can't even one-shot elites anymore. So, to each their own, right? So that's pretty much it for Fugue. Nothing too crazy to talk about. Make sure you hit the 6. Try to make this to be 67. A bit off, but I'm okay with it. Right? Okay, next Nihility. I mean, he's already here, right? Jiaoqiu. Ooh. Jiaoqiu, my mans. Yep. That's the unit right here, Mr. Jiaoqiu. So you basically want to hunt him with as much speed as possible. Ideally, as I've always said, 200 effective, 119% energy generation, because he should always be on energy regeneration rope, and then as much EHR as possible, because his debuffs actually have a pretty low base chance, especially if you really get the Signature Lycone. This helps quite a lot with your EHR requirements. If you don't have this, you definitely slap on as much EHR as you possibly can. You can check out my earlier guys to see what's the EHR requirements. For the tracers and everything, doesn't, okay, not really up, but yeah, this was, I believe, the wrong build. So slam on 4-piece Eagle, slam on 2-piece Formback, make sure he goes first, apply the ultimate, so units like Acheron, let's just build his, yep, should you pull Jiaoqiu for Acheron? I'm not going to be answering this because the answer is very obvious, right? So we're just going to slap this on, apply his debuffs, apply his ultimates, apply the stacks, and then he's just going to be there, just chilling, applying all of the things, getting spammed the ultimate. Remember to, especially for all of the supports, this doesn't apply to just Jiaoqiu, but for pretty much every single support that's going to be running the 4-piece Eagle, you want to make sure that you cast this ultimates outside of their turn, right? You don't want to cast your ultimates during their turn, because that will be a complete waste of the 4-piece Eagle, right? Always outside of their turn. You might face a very awkward position where, should you be wasting a skill or a basic just to get the action value, or should you just fuck the action value and get a little bit more energy from your skill or basic? So this honestly doesn't really have a right answer. It depends on the environment you're facing it. Sometimes I prefer the additional action value. Sometimes I prefer the additional energy so I can cast the next ultimate a little bit more. The determining factor basically boils down to, can you end off this fight right here, right now, using the additional turn? Or do you end this fight with an additional ultimate? Right, so it really just depends if you can get one more turn. Does that one more turn lead to you getting the value needed to end the fight? If it cannot give you that value, then I would say that your raising of the ultimate is going to be fine for you. So it depends on the scenario, depends on the end game combat. Light code, if you don't have this, resolution is completely fine, so not too much to talk about over there. For the Eidolons, I don't think Jiaoqiu's Eidolons are that worth it. E1 is okay, a little bit more damage. This is unfortunately not vulnerability, so it is what it is. This is basically for DOT Jiaoqiu, but then again, DOT in 2025 is we're waiting for their arrival, right? So maybe when DOT becomes real again, E2 Jiaoqiu could become really, really good, right? So we could run like an E2 Jiaoqiu, E1 Black Swan, E2 Kafka, and another 4 DOT in one team, right? So maybe when that happens, we'll see how it goes. But until then, I think Jiaoqiu doesn't really need the items that much. So that's pretty much it. Our next Nihility unit is going to be Acheron. Ooh, Acheron. How do you build Acheron, right? So for my personal Acheron build, it is a little bit unrelatable. Actually, my Acheron build is not even that crazy, right? We have a 3 roller over here, 4 roller. It's right? I need... okay, this piece is honestly pretty fucking diabolical. We have a pack of speed rolls. This is kind of okay, right? This is kind of right? So it's kind of okay. So what I essentially have over here, this is only feasible if you are running Izumo, Diver, and the E1. All these 3 combined gives you 34% crit rate, which means my Acheron is effectively at 88.6% crit rate. If you slap this on with a Mimi, that is 98. If you slap this on with a Sunday, that is overcapping, right? So it depends on what the support you're running Acheron with, but generally speaking, you do want to make sure this is going to be 100% crit rate. You could even run like a full Swan, because full Swan with Acheron is still a thing, right? Because you still have that 12% crit rate, or you could even run like the dreaded Sparkle Signature Lycone to force that 100% crit rate, right? The speed requirement, it depends who you're using her with. Oh my god, she's so upset. Oh no. Yeah, if you're going to be running Acheron with a E2 Sparkle, you can just make this to be attack percentage boost. It doesn't really matter that much, so change this to attack. Do I have a better one? Yeah, this is better, right? You can change this to attack percentage, and then slap on a Sparkle, and then Sparkle is gonna be Acheron's wheelchair, or if you run around with Mimi, that's also okay. But I do find myself, if you want to get as many stacks as possible, I do change this back into the speed boost. Run this with Sunday. Yeah, run this with Sunday, and then let Sunday bring more out to generate a lot more stacks, right? Even though Sunday's ultimate doesn't really work with the energy, but just from the stacks alone, in my opinion, it does make her feel pretty worth it, right? For the light cone, I mean, I don't really need to say, just get it. Alright, it's 2025. If you want to play Acheron, just get it, right? That's pretty much it. For the islands, yeah, okay, this E1 is honestly pretty good, right? This E1 is honestly pretty good. 80% crit rate, that's gonna be 36 crit value. So I would say for DPS, especially for DPS you are having difficulties building, I think this Acheron E1 is pretty good. But running through the Sunday, E0 S1, I don't really think it's gonna be that crazy. E2, I don't think I need to explain, right? We've went through this a lot of times. Pre-diabolical E2. E4 doesn't really change anything that much, and then E6 is gonna be the big boom, right? So what's funny is, I think even to this day and age, a E6 Acheron without Jiaoqiu, they might be getting cooked. Yep, like dead ass, bro. Like E6 Acheron without Jiaoqiu, I don't even think they can 0 cycle. Anyways, that's pretty much it for my Acheron guild. Just slap on a very traditional crit DPS, nothing too crazy. Don't build like a fucking break effect Acheron, whatever, super break Acheron, or whatever the hell that you guys are cooking. Just not it, right? Okay, Kafka and Black Swan, I'll combine them into one. The DOTs. The DOTs, alright? So the way that the DOTs for these two work is that you want Black Swan to be faster than Kafka to apply the defense down first, and you want another third unit most of the time that third unit is Hue to land off a basic attack, so Kafka can fire off one follow-up attack for herself. If your support is, for example, like Babin, they're always activating the skill first, so there's no way Kafka can let go of this follow-up attack, right? So generally speaking, Hue will be there to be the one giving the additional basic, but frankly speaking, there's a bit of a flaw, which is your Hue can't cast her skill in the very first action in order to trigger Kafka's follow-up attack. So this will lead to a situation where you might not get full coverage in the very first wave, which can be a little bit scary, but it doesn't matter since Hue always gets the ultimate by the second action anyways, right? So it's skill basic or basic skill, she always gets the ultimate. So in my opinion, I feel that if I'm not facing any sustained issue, Hue will always be my basic. Kafka follows up, Black Swan gets the defense down, and then Kafka applies the skill. Everything just sort of flows from there. My speed tuning for Kafka is specifically to the point where she is guaranteed to be 134 speed in combat, right? So this is going to be very easily done with the Signature Light Cone, which is going to be 14.4% speed. If you don't want to run this, you can run with a Run Mei, or even you can run with an E2 Babin, just to make sure that your DOT units have at least 134 in combat. The Black Swan, I just make it a little bit higher because I want to make sure that even after the 14.4 speed buff, because Kafka's base is 100, right? So this is 125 plus 14.4, which is going to be 139.4. That means Black Swan always outspeeds Kafka, and in that scenario, Black Swan going first just to make sure I always get my defense down after Kafka gains the 3 sets from the Signature Light Cone, right? So with that, I actually opted for an attack percentage boost Kafka with lightning damage boost, attack rope, as well as the attack spear for a pretty beefy 4.1k attack Kafka with the lightning damage boost. I would say foreseeable in the future, I wouldn't be surprised that Kafka turns into a pure 4-piece eagle with energy regeneration rope. Because the problem with Kafka is that her base kit, her base multipliers, and the ultimate, the skill is just way too low. Right, it's only 290% multiplier. If you want to compare it to Black Swan is a lot higher when you want to stack on this Arcana all the way to 50 stacks, right? This is going to be a lot, I think double, if not 2.5x more than Kafka's personal multipliers. So I can also foresee future DOTs having a much stronger DOT multiplier, in which if that is the case, if Kafka's ultimate and her personal multiplier is just not going to be that crazy, I'd rather just let her be an enabler, right? She can just be a purely, something like how you guys have built your baby servo, right? Baby Herta or baby Sabao, right? Both of these units on 4-piece Eagle, 2-piece Luxaka. For Kafka's case, you could even potentially run her as like a Panikuni, right? Panikuni set with like, you know, buff like another lightning DPS in the future, another lightning DOT in the future to power creep Kafka, or any sort of energy regeneration damage percentage, as well as energy regeneration percentage, and just make her generate as many actions, 200 speed effective, and spamming the ultimate and skill to trigger the stronger DOT from either Black Swan or future DOTs that are going to be coming up, right? That being said, this is base Kafka, right? This is base Kafka. We are getting a Kafka rework in 3.4. I don't know what it's going to be. So maybe, who knows, they double the multipliers or something, right? So that is going to be completely for 3.4. For now, this is the way I build my Kafka, and then this is the way I build my Black Swan. Pretty much exactly the same. 4-piece prisoner, 4-piece prisoner, 2-piece Kilomorph, 2-piece Kilomorph, slam on attack percentage and all that kind of stuff. So they're both identical. Black Swan is a little bit more EHR requirements, right? Kafka doesn't need to be that much. It can just be an okay amount would do, because her E1, this is going to be 100% base chance, so you might miss, right? For Kafka herself, her own skill is going to be, I believe, 130% base chance, if I can find it somewhere, right? So this technique allows the ultimate as well as the follow-up, all the talent, it increases by 30%, so she's never gonna miss, right? But the E1 is not impacted, so you do want a little bit more of the EHR to guarantee that this thing actually lands. So I do have still have a little bit of EHR for Kafka itself, but you know, I don't even know who the hell is watching this portion, because are you still playing DOT? Because if you are still watching this, you know, I genuinely pray for you and hope that DOT can become great again. So this is how I build my Kafka. Signature Light Cone. I'm on E2 because this is, you know, I would love that, you know, this is like a little bit of Res Pen. E2 Kafka on Res Pen would be pretty good, because this is increased DOT receive. So it's like DOT vulnerability. But this is just DOT dealt by all allies. So it would be nice if this is like a bit of a res pen or like a damage multiplier to just make her, like, imagine if they buff Kafka's item to be stronger, right? So that's pretty much it. For Black Swan, also the same thing. E1 Black Swan, very good. Light Cone, this is useless, by the way. Do not get this in 2025. Do not get this in 2025. Do not get this in 2025. Get this. This is literally better than Black Swan's signature light cone. You get more booms, you get more you get the same EHR, but you get more damage for your entire team, especially if you're gonna be using her as an enabler for future duty units. So her own light cone or power grab completely fucking useless. Just get Jiaoqiu and just call it day, right? So that is pretty much it for my two DOT mummies. Okay, we have 2 more units. Well, Yang, let's just forget about him. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're just got 2 more units. Silver Wolf as well as Pela. All these other 3 irrelevant, right? Because these 3 units is basically the exact same as how you build Kafka and Black Swan. They are all the 3 DOTs that nobody plays in 2025. And I would dare say even 2024, right? So you can just forget about them. Silver Wolf and Pela, I'll just talk about, because they are also both very, very similar. They are both basically debuffers that you want to stack on as much speed as possible with the required amount of EHR. So for Silver Wolf and Pela, I will just combine them into one. Slam the speed and slam energy regeneration. I ran out of Ego 4-piece, but this is something that you want to do. 2-piece speed, 2-piece speed. The inner 2-piece, I just couldn't really hit the threshold for a broken kill, so I just went for Fleetless if you're gonna be buffing up your other units. If not for Fleetless, you can go for the 2-piece Lukshaka. That's also gonna be completely fine. Get her to be enough EHR, right? At least 50%, because keep in mind, Pela does have a trace that increases the EHR. You have this trace over here. I didn't even unlock this because I'm fucking lazy. You do have an additional 10 EHR in battle, right? In battle, so just keep in mind plus 10%. So your Pela at 50% is gonna be completely okay. You can either run it on tutorial mission or you can run it on resolution Lycon. These two would be the same choice for both Pela and Silver Wolf, because this Lycon is dog shit, right? Just ignore this. So these 2 icons are completely fine. Yep, make her beefy, 4k HP, 1.3k defense. Just make her as beefy with her defensive main stats, and then just slam on the speed and EHR. Exact same for Silver Wolf, exact same for Pela. For Silver Wolf specifically, because she is also getting another buff just like Kafka, right? She's also getting another buff just like Kafka. So I also want to see how she is gonna be cooking like going forward in the future and what the buffs are gonna be. So maybe that could change everything. As of now, this is completely fucking useless. This is honestly really, really good because it ensures essentially a 2-turn ultimate, sometimes potentially even a 1-turn ultimate. That is pretty much it. Lycon also, yeah, just do not get this. This is probably my biggest break of my entire account. Getting the E1, sorry, not the E1, the E2 and the S1 completely fucking useless, right? Just don't get it, right? So, yep, I think with that, we have covered every single Nihility. Yeah, with that, we have covered every single Nihility unit, which finally brings us to one final chapter in the next video coming near you. Word of the day is going to be, does your Acheron need join Twitch, join Discord, join Twitter, all the best. We'll get to see you guys next time. Take care.